There are moments in life when we kneel to ask, when we whisper prayers in silence, and when we shape our desires with words. Yet the greatest miracles do not always come from what is spoken. They are born from what is silently held in the deepest chambers of the heart. There is a sacred law at work. Life gives not only what you ask for, but what you are. Long before you find the words to pray, the universe has already felt your longing. Long before you reach out in hope, the invisible hand of the divine is already arranging the answer. You may think you are waiting for a miracle, but the miracle has been waiting for you. It comes not because you begged for it, but because it is already yours by right of being. The hidden self, the one beyond your conscious thoughts, has prayed 1,000 prayers you never spoke, and heaven heard them all. Do not be surprised when doors swing open where you saw only walls. Do not be startled when opportunities arrive you never imagined. For what you carry in silence calls forth what words cannot. The heart is a magnet, and the soul is a prayer that never stops speaking. And so the miracle you never prayed for will arrive before you expect. It will not knock politely. It will flood your life with timing so perfect that you will know it was always meant for you. You will not need to chase it, for it will find you. You will not need to question it, for its peace will answer everything. The universe is not bound by your schedule. It is moved by the certainty of your inner state. The unseen power brings forth blessings faster than time, greater than thought, and deeper than any prayer you could ever form. So live in trust, live in the assurance that what you did not know how to ask for is already on its way. The miracle is not coming, it has already begun. Life answers not just prayers, but the silent desires of the heart. What we speak in words is often a small fragment of what we truly long for, because language cannot capture the depth of the soul's yearning. Sometimes we do not even know what to ask for. We believe our prayers must be carefully constructed, spoken in detail, repeated with discipline. Yet beneath all words lies the true vibration of the heart. And it is that unspoken frequency that life responds to. And that life responds to. The heart holds longings too subtle to name, feelings too deep to confess, and dreams too vast for language. These are not always expressed in prayer, yet they are constantly radiating, constantly shaping the unseen. A man may pray for security, yet secretly, without words, his heart longs for freedom. A woman may ask for healing, but silently her soul is crying for peace. It is not the words that move the universe. It is the hidden essence, the unspoken desire carried within. This is why so often we are astonished when blessings arrive that we never specifically prayed for. They come as though out of nowhere, yet in truth they are answers to the silent cry we did not have the courage or awareness to speak. Life does not wait for permission slips written in the form of prayers. Life listens directly to the heart. Every heartbeat is itself a prayer, every longing a signal, every silent ache a call to the divine. Consider the times you have been surprised by joy, an unexpected meeting, a door opening, a solution appearing when you had given up asking. These are reminders that life is always listening at a level deeper than words. Your conscious mind may forget, but your inner being never stops speaking to the great source. The very act of living is a constant communication. Even in silence, you are heard. We often underestimate the power of our inner states. We imagine that only what we say with discipline or what we write in prayer journals is acknowledged by the universe. Yet the truth is, what we dwell upon in thought, What we nourish in imagination and what we allow to grow in feeling carries more weight than any repeated phrase. The divine does not respond to words, it responds to states of being. And the heart, whether aware or not, continuously reveals your state. This is why some prayers are answered without being spoken, and why some spoken prayers go unanswered. Words without feeling are empty. Feeling without words, however, has the power to move mountains. When your heart aches with longing, when your soul burns with desire, when your inner self breathes out its silent cry, life listens. So let your heart be honest. Let it feel without fear. Do not worry if you cannot form the perfect prayer or find the right words. The unspoken desire is already known, already understood, already answered. Life hears what your lips do not say. And in the perfect time, in ways you could never have orchestrated, it will bring forth not only what you asked for, but what you truly carry deep within. The language of the heart is beyond sound, yet it is never ignored. Life answers not just prayers, but the silent desires of the heart. The unseen hand of the divine works beyond our asking. There is a hidden intelligence weaving through every detail of life, an intelligence that does not wait for us to instruct it step by step, but moves with wisdom far greater than our conscious understanding. We imagine that only what we request through prayer, meditation, or thought can reach the divine. Yet long before our words are spoken, the answer is already in motion. There is a force that knows the shape of our lives better than we do, a presence that sees the full pattern while we only glimpse fragments. Many times we stand at the edge of uncertainty, believing we are alone, struggling to find the right words to plead for help. And yet, unseen currents are already shifting, aligning events, preparing paths. What we perceive as delay or silence is often the precise unfolding of something greater, something that could not be grasped if it came too soon or too easily. The divine hand does not work under our limited timing. It works according to the rhythm of perfection. Consider the countless times blessings have arrived unannounced, without being specifically requested. An unexpected opportunity, a chance meeting, a sudden solution to a problem you had carried for months. These are not accidents. They are the fingerprints of the unseen hand, arranging circumstances beyond what you could have imagined. You may not have asked for that exact gift, but it came because the divine knew what you truly needed before you realized it yourself. This is why faith is not about controlling outcomes with words, but about trusting that there is a greater wisdom always at work. To live with trust is to know that you are guided even when you cannot see the guide. The invisible hand is never idle. While you sleep, it works. While you doubt, it works. While you wait, it is already arranging the threads of your destiny. Sometimes what feels like a loss is in fact a redirection. What looks like rejection may be protection. The unseen hand removes certain doors not to harm you, but to shield you from what you cannot yet perceive. And then, in the most unexpected hour, another door opens, one that reveals why the other remained closed. In hindsight, you see the precision. In the moment, all you need is trust. The divine is not bound by your requests. It is bound only by its nature, which is goodness, love, and abundance. You may ask for a drop, yet it prepares an ocean. You may pray for survival, yet it has planned your thriving. You may think you are waiting for an answer, yet the answer was planted in the soil of your life long before you even knew the question. The unseen hand of the divine is always working beyond your asking. Even your silence is heard, even your confusion is understood. You are never left to struggle alone. There is a presence greater than sight, wiser than thought, and kinder than words, shaping your life with precision. Trust in that unseen hand, for it never fails. What you truly are within attracts what you never thought to request. Life responds not merely to what you say, but to the essence you carry in the secret place of your being. The hidden self, the one beneath appearances and words, is like a magnet constantly pulling experiences, people, and opportunities that reflect its nature. You may believe you are consciously asking for one thing, yet the energy you hold within summons something entirely different. Sometimes greater, sometimes unexpected, but always in harmony with who you are at the deepest level. We often pray or wish from the surface of the mind. We ask for wealth, love, peace, or success with carefully chosen words. Yet beneath those words lies the truer prayer, the unspoken identity you accept about yourself. If within you see yourself as unworthy, the world mirrors back lack, no matter how many prayers you repeat. But if within you carry a quiet certainty of worth, life responds with opportunities, blessings, and abundance, even those you never thought to request. The law of attraction is not about repetition of words, but about embodiment of states. The inner state is the real seed, and every seed produces after its kind. A heart that carries joy will find joy arriving in ways it never asked for. A soul that embodies love will attract encounters more beautiful than any prayer it could form. A mind that rests in peace will discover doors opening effortlessly, not because it calculated them, but because it became a living invitation for peace-filled outcomes. Think of times when something extraordinary arrived in your life that you never directly prayed for. Perhaps a person appeared at just the right moment, offering guidance or support you did not know you needed. Perhaps an opportunity came that was far greater than the request you thought to make. These moments are not coincidences. They are reflections of the truth you carried inside, calling forth experiences beyond the scope of your conscious asking. The self is always radiating. Who you believe yourself to be is continuously shaping the life around you. This is why transformation does not begin with begging for external changes, but with becoming inwardly what you desire outwardly. To be love is to attract love. To be abundance is to invite abundance. To be peace is to draw peace. And in that state, blessings arrive unsought, miracles unfold unplanned, and the universe delivers gifts that surpass imagination. You do not need to know the details of what to request. Life knows. Your task is not to instruct the divine on how to bless you, but to embody within yourself the truth of who you already are. When you align your inner state with love, joy, and worth, you become a magnet for all things that correspond with it. Many of those things will surprise you because they are answers to the unspoken identity you held, not just the surface desires you voiced. What you truly are within attracts what you never thought to request. Therefore, guard the inner self with reverence, nurture it with truth. Live as though you already are what you long to be, and the world will rise to meet you with blessings you never dreamed of asking for. Grace moves faster than expectation, bringing blessings uncalled for. There is a current in life that does not wait for your schedule, your effort, or even your readiness. It flows with a speed beyond reason, cutting through delays, dissolving obstacles, and unfolding blessings long before you think they should arrive. Grace is not bound by time. It is not measured by the clock, nor limited by the slow logic of human planning. It appears suddenly like light breaking through clouds. And when it does, you know without doubt that it could not have come from your own striving. Expectation is a limited frame shaped by what you believe is possible, by what your mind can calculate. You think in terms of process, steps, and gradual results. You believe that growth, healing, or success must take months or years. Yet grace knows no such restrictions. It can bring in a moment what years of effort could not produce. It can restore what seemed lost forever. It can elevate you to places you never thought to reach. Grace is not concerned with probability. It is the hand of the divine, giving freely, without condition, and often without request. This is why the most life-changing moments often arrive unannounced. You are busy waiting, calculating, and expecting, and suddenly grace rushes in, exceeding every timeline you set. A debt cleared, a sickness healed, a relationship mended, a door opened. These are not always the results of your asking. They are gifts given, because the source of life is generous beyond measure. Grace answers not just prayer spoken, but the deep hunger of the soul. Even when unexpressed, when grace moves, it bypasses the rules you thought were fixed. What should have taken 10 years can happen in one season. What looked like a dead end can transform overnight into a path of abundance. Grace does not consult the logic of your circumstances. It consults only the truth of divine love. And love is never slow. Love moves at the speed of miracles. This is why gratitude is the posture of those who understand grace. Gratitude does not wait until blessings appear. It lives as though blessings are already on their way, because they always are. The more you dwell in gratitude, the more aware you become of how swiftly grace is moving. Gratitude prepares you to recognize blessings when they arrive unexpectedly, so you do not dismiss them as luck or coincidence. Grace is never late, never limited, and never earned. It is the free flow of goodness that cannot be calculated or confined. You may expect your blessing tomorrow, but grace can bring it today. You may think you must struggle endlessly, but grace can end the struggle in a moment. You may imagine that certain dreams are too big, but grace delights in surpassing human limits. Grace moves faster than expectation, bringing blessings uncalled for. It is already at work in your life, arranging surprises, preparing doors, and rushing toward you with gifts far beyond what you thought to ask. All you must do is remain open, trusting, and ready to receive what only grace can deliver. The miracle is already prepared before you know you need it. Life, in its infinite wisdom, always runs ahead of your awareness. While you are busy worrying about tomorrow, tomorrow has already been provided for. Long before you sense the problem, the solution is waiting. Before the sickness appears, the healing is set in motion. Before the need rises, the supply is already stored in unseen places. Nothing surprises the divine, for it knows your path before you take your first step. The miracle you think you must beg for has already been placed along your journey, waiting for the moment it will be revealed. We live as though we must earn every blessing, as though we must persuade the heavens with constant prayers. Yet the truth is deeper. Provision is always ahead of need. Just as a river is already flowing before you arrive to drink, so too are your blessings flowing before you recognize your thirst. This is why sudden help appears in moments of despair. This is why opportunities emerge just when you thought there was no way. The miracle was already woven into the fabric of your life before you became aware of the gap. Think of the times when you faced what seemed like an impossible challenge. You may have felt cornered, abandoned, or lost, only to find that an answer appeared at exactly the right time. A person stepped in, a door opened, a resource arrived. None of these were coincidences. They were reminders that the provision was already in place. What felt to you like last-minute rescue was in fact the perfect timing of a miracle long prepared. The divine is never reactive, it is always proactive. It does not scramble to meet your needs as they arise. It has already filled the path with hidden treasures. You are like a traveler walking through a forest, and as you take each step, fruit appears on the trees, Water flows from unseen springs, and light filters through the leaves. You did not have to create these, they were there all along, awaiting your arrival. This is why worry is unnecessary, though we often cling to it. Worry imagines a future without provision. Faith rests in the knowing that a miracle is already there, simply awaiting its unveiling. When you release fear, you align yourself with the flow of life and make room to receive what is already prepared. Even delays and detours hold purpose. Sometimes you are redirected, not to punish you, but to guide you closer to the place where your miracle is waiting. The very things you call setbacks are often preparations. They slow you down only so you arrive at the right time to meet what has been waiting for you all along. So trust the unseen order of life. Stop fearing tomorrow, for tomorrow has already been blessed. The answers you will one day celebrate are already here, though your eyes may not yet see them. The miracle is already prepared before you know you need it. And when the moment comes, it will unfold with such precision that you will understand it was never late, never uncertain, never absent. It was always there, waiting for you to arrive. The greatest gifts are those that arrive unannounced, yet perfectly timed. They come without warning, without effort, and without expectation, yet they enter our lives with such precision that we realize they could not have been accidents. These gifts slip past the borders of planning and calculation, arriving in moments when we least expect them but most need them. They are reminders that life is not governed solely by what we strive for, but by a higher order that sees beyond our limited view. So often we measure life by what we can predict, what we can plan, and what we can request. We make lists of goals, set timelines, and pray for specific outcomes. Yet the most beautiful blessings are rarely the ones we foresaw. They are the surprises, the conversation that changes your perspective, the opportunity that appears out of nowhere, the healing that comes in an instant, the love that finds you when you stop searching. These gifts carry the signature of the divine because they bypass our expectations and arrive in a way that makes us pause in wonder. The timing of these gifts is never random. They appear exactly when they are needed, though not always when we think we are ready. At times they come to rescue us from despair. At other times they come to expand us beyond what we believed possible. The perfection of their timing is the evidence that life knows our true needs far better than we do. What we might have prayed for prematurely or too narrowly is replaced by something greater, arriving in the fullness of time. Think of moments in your past when something wonderful happened unexpectedly. Perhaps you met a person who became a lifelong friend or partner. Perhaps an idea sparked at the right instant and opened a path you never imagined. Perhaps a closed door forced you into an unknown direction, only for you to discover it was the path that held your blessing. In those moments, you realized that the best things in life cannot be forced. They arrive on their own, guided by a wisdom greater than your own plans. This is why trust is essential. To live in trust is to know that unseen hands are working, preparing, and aligning everything for your good. You may not know the details, but you can rest in the assurance that what you truly need is already set in motion. And when it arrives, it will not need explanation. Its timing will speak for itself. You will look back and understand why certain delays, rejections, or detours occurred, because they positioned you to receive the gift at the only time it could have made sense. The greatest gifts do not always come with loud announcements. They often slip in quietly, yet their impact is everlasting. They transform your path, your heart, and your vision of what is possible. And though you did not see them coming, you will recognize their perfection the moment they appear. The greatest gifts are those that arrive unannounced yet perfectly timed. They remind us that we are guided, loved, and provided for in ways beyond our comprehension. They are the divine's way of saying, you are never forgotten, and you will always receive what you need, exactly when you need it. Life is not a puzzle you must solve on your own. It is a living current always flowing toward your highest good. The silent desires of your heart are heard. The unseen hand of the divine is at work, and who you are within is already shaping blessings you never thought to request. Grace moves faster than your expectations. The miracle is prepared long before you know you need it, and the greatest gifts will always arrive unannounced, yet perfectly timed. So walk forward with trust. Do not fear delays, do not doubt the silence, and do not underestimate the power of what is already unfolding. Your life is being guided with precision, and the proof will be in the miracles that arrive when you least expect them. The journey is not one of striving, it is one of receiving, of recognizing and of giving thanks for the abundance that continually seeks you. Thank you for allowing me to share these words with you today. May you leave here with renewed faith, deeper peace, and the certainty that the miracle you never prayed for is already on its way. My friend, listen carefully. God is preparing a blessing so vast, so beyond what you can now imagine, that when it arrives, it will not simply fit into your life, it will redefine it. It is the Banda. Do not be discouraged by silence, for silence is the language of preparation. When nothing seems to move, when doors seem closed, it is then that the greatest work is being accomplished in the unseen. Just because you do not yet see the blessing does not mean it is not already yours. The transformation begins within you. The blessing that is coming will not only alter circumstances, it will awaken a new identity in you. To receive something great, you must first become great in your awareness. And so your task is not to chase nor to worry, but to live. In the end, imagine yourself already walking in the reality of your answered prayer. Feel it real. Rest in it. Every delay has meaning. Every seeming setback is a divine arrangement, pushing you toward the right place, the right time, the right unfolding. The size of the waiting is the measure of the blessing. For God will not hand you something small. No, He is preparing something that will stretch your vision, enlarge your heart, and redefine what you believe is possible. So let go of your striving. Cease your anxious searching. The blessing is already set aside for you. Walk in the confidence that it is done. Speak with the assurance that you are chosen. Live as though the promise is already fulfilled. And when it comes, and it will, it shall be so big, so unmistakable, that you will know beyond all doubt. This was prepared for you, not earned, not forced, but prepared. And it will not only bless you, it will redefine your life. The unseen hand of God is always working, though you cannot see it. Every delay and silence is divine preparation. Life often gives us moments where it feels as though nothing is happening. We pray, we hope, we believe, yet the evidence we long for remains absent. It is in these moments that the mind begins to doubt, to question whether God has heard us at all. But in truth, it is in these very seasons of stillness that His greatest work is unfolding. The unseen hand is arranging what your eyes cannot yet behold. When you encounter silence, do not mistake it for abandonment. Silence is not absence, it is preparation. Just as a seed lies buried in the darkness of the soil, unseen by the human eye, so too does your blessing take root in hidden places. The seed does not show signs of life immediately, yet within, a process beyond comprehension is occurring. In time, the sprout breaks through the ground, revealing what has been happening all along. So it is with your life. Every delay is evidence of a greater unfolding beneath the surface. The human tendency is to equate progress with visibility. If we do not see results, we assume nothing is happening. But the unseen realm is far more active than what appears to our senses. The silence is not stillness, it is motion, only concealed. The hand of God moves quietly, aligning circumstances, preparing people and shaping conditions, so that when the blessing appears, it will be undeniable that it was not your doing, but His. Consider the times you felt delayed, only to look back later and see how every detour was a hidden blessing. What you thought was wasted time was in fact divine timing. The person who walked away, the job that did not open, the opportunity that slipped through your fingers, each was a piece of the unseen orchestration. Had it arrived earlier, you would not have been ready. Had it been given in haste, it would not have lasted. Delay then is not denial. It is the signature of something being perfected for you. This unseen hand works beyond logic. While you grow restless, it is not idle. While you wonder, it is weaving. And though your senses may cry out for proof, faith calls you to rest in assurance. For what is faith if not trust in what cannot yet be seen? To believe in the unseen is to acknowledge that the silence of God is not empty, but full of purpose. The blessing prepared for you is not small. If it were, it would not take this time. The greater the promise, the greater the preparation. Just as a palace takes longer to build than a cottage, so too does the magnitude of your blessing determine the length of its silent construction. God's hand is shaping it in such a way that when it arrives, you will recognize it as more than coincidence. It will be providence. So the next time you encounter stillness, do not despair. Close your eyes and remind yourself, the unseen hand is working. Though I cannot trace it, I trust it. Though I cannot see it, I believe it. For every silence is not a punishment, but preparation. And when the time is right, what has been hidden shall be revealed, and it will be greater than anything you once imagined. Your inner vision shapes the blessing. What you dare to imagine and believe becomes the mold into which the blessing flows. Everything you experience on the outside is born from what you have first accepted within. Life bends itself to the images impressed upon your mind, whether you are aware of them or not. If you hold the vision of lack, struggle, and limitation, then your days will reflect that belief. But if you dare to see yourself in possession of the blessing you seek, if you dare to accept inwardly the reality of abundance, health, love, or success, then the world will conspire to make it so. The blessing cannot flow where there is no mold to contain it. Imagine water being poured out. It must have a vessel or it spills away. Your inner vision is that vessel. When you imagine clearly, when you feel the reality of your desire as if it is already done, you are shaping the container into which God's blessing will be poured. Without that vision, the blessing has no place to land. But with it, you become a magnet drawing into your experience the very thing you have dared to see. This is why imagination is holy. What you allow yourself to picture, especially in moments of stillness, creates the pattern for your life. If you constantly rehearse fears, you prepare the ground for them to manifest. But if you choose deliberately and consistently to picture your life fulfilled, to see yourself walking in the promise, then that unseen image begins to shape the outer world. The unseen becomes seen, the invisible becomes visible, and the imagined becomes real. Think of an architect. Before a great building rises, a design exists in the mind. Blueprints are drawn, every detail considered, before even the first stone is laid. Without that inner vision, no structure could come forth. The same is true of your life. Your imagination is the blueprint. God provides the materials, the timing, the circumstances, but it is your inner vision that determines what form they take. What you dare to imagine is important because imagination requires courage. It is easy to see what is in front of you, but it takes faith to see what is not yet visible. When everything around you looks contrary to the blessing, to still hold the vision of fulfillment is the greatest act of belief. In that moment, you declare with your heart, "What I see within is greater than what I see without." And life always follows that declaration. Belief seals the vision. You may imagine something once, but until you believe it, it remains a fleeting picture. Belief fixes it in place, making it solid in your consciousness. Once fixed, it becomes inevitable. The world must bend, conditions must shift, people must appear, because your inner vision has carved the space for the blessing to flow. The blessing does not create the vision creates the blessing. Therefore, guard your inner pictures. Refuse to let your mind wander into fear and despair. Each thought is a seed, and seeds grow. Plant what you wish to harvest. Dare to see yourself greater, fuller, richer, stronger. Dare to imagine that the blessing is already yours. For once you hold it within, it is only a matter of time before it takes form without. And when it does, you will know it was not chance, but the outworking of the vision you carried within your own heart. Redefinition requires renewal. This blessing won't just add to your life, it will change the way you see yourself and the world. Too often we think of blessings as mere additions, as though they come to decorate our lives without transforming them. But what God is preparing for you is not a small token or a passing gift. It is something so powerful that it will demand a new identity from you. It will stretch your perspective, broaden your faith, and awaken you to a life you have not yet dared to live. This blessing does not simply enter your life, it redefines it. To be redefined means you cannot remain the same. Just as a caterpillar is redefined by becoming a butterfly, your present form of thinking and being must give way to something higher. Renewal is the process by which you are made ready. Renewal happens when old patterns, limiting beliefs, and small identities begin to fall away, making room for something greater to take their place. The blessing prepared for you is not designed to fit the old version of you. It comes to awaken a new you, a greater you, the you that has always existed within, but has been waiting for its time to emerge. This is why certain seasons of life feel uncomfortable. Renewal is rarely gentle. It often requires letting go of things you once clung to, releasing people who no longer align with your future, or shedding ways of thinking that kept you small. You may feel like you are losing, but in truth, you are being refined. Every stripping away is part of the preparation for redefinition. The blessing cannot attach itself to an old identity. It must meet the renewed self that is capable of carrying it with wisdom and strength. When this blessing arrives, it will not simply change your circumstances, it will change how you see. The world will no longer appear as it once did. Where you once saw obstacles, you will see opportunities. Where you once felt fear, you will feel courage. Where you once believed you were limited, you will know you are limitless. The blessing itself becomes a mirror, reflecting back to you the truth of who you are, chosen, capable, abundant, and complete. And because your vision of yourself changes, so too will your relationship with others and with life itself. You will no longer walk timidly, hoping for scraps of favor. You will walk boldly, knowing you carry divine favor. You will no longer shrink in the presence of challenge, for you will recognize that the very challenges were the instruments of your renewal. The redefinition comes not only from receiving, but from realizing you have become the kind of person who was always worthy of such a blessing. This is why you must welcome the process of renewal instead of resisting it. When you feel things shifting, when the old no longer fits, remind yourself that it is not loss, it is preparation. You are being remade for the blessing that is coming. And when it finally appears, you will understand why the renewal was necessary. Because without it, you would not have recognized the gift, nor had the capacity to carry it. So embrace the renewal. Trust that every change is shaping you for a greater revelation of who you are. The blessing that is coming is not just for your life, it is for your identity. It will redefine you. And when it does, you will see yourself and the world through eyes that have been made new. Faith is acceptance, not struggle. The blessing arrives the moment you accept it inwardly, long before it shows outwardly. Too many live as though faith were a battle, as if they must wrestle with God or force their desires into existence. But true faith is not a struggle, it is rest. It is the quiet knowing that what you have asked for is already done. When you accept it in the silence of your heart, the work is complete. The outer world only lags behind to reveal what you have already claimed within. Struggle belongs to doubt. When you are wrestling, questioning, or chasing, it is because you do not yet believe the blessing is yours. Faith does not chase, it receives. Faith does not beg, it embraces. The moment you inwardly accept, the blessing is sealed. You may not yet see the evidence, but the reality is already yours, planted like a seed that will in time break through the soil. The harvest does not depend on your struggle. It depends on your acceptance. Consider the air you breathe. You do not struggle to receive it. You do not plead for oxygen, nor worry whether it will fill your lungs. You simply inhale, knowing it is yours. That is the nature of true faith. The blessing is already present, waiting for your acceptance. When you grasp this truth, you stop striving and begin living in the end. You carry yourself differently, you speak differently. You speak differently, you live as though it is already done, because inwardly you know it is. Faith begins in imagination. The instant you can see yourself with the blessing, the instant you feel it as real within, you have accepted it. That acceptance is the key that unlocks the invisible and makes it visible. Many wait to believe until they see, but the mystery is this: you will only see once you first believe. The blessing cannot reveal itself to a heart that doubts, but it flows easily to a heart that has accepted. This is why so many remain stuck. They think their effort, their striving, their endless repetition will bring the promise to pass. But effort without acceptance is only noise. It is not your frantic struggle that moves the heavens. It is your quiet faith. Faith is not an attempt to make something happen, but the recognition that it already has. When you accept, you align. When you align, you attract. And when you attract, the world simply rearranges itself to reflect what you already know within. Do not underestimate the power of inner acceptance. It changes everything. Once you accept that the blessing is yours, the waiting no longer feels heavy. The silence no longer feels empty. You begin to carry peace because you know the end is certain. You no longer wake up anxious because inwardly you already have what you asked for. And soon the outer world catches up, for it has no choice but to mirror your inner conviction. The blessing arrives inwardly the moment you say yes, the moment you drop resistance, the moment you let go of doubt, the moment you feel the prayer answered within. That is the true arrival. Outwardly it may take time to appear, but inwardly it is already finished. So stop struggling, rest in acceptance, live as though it is already yours, because in truth it is. And the day will come when the invisible becomes visible, and you will see with your eyes what you first accepted in your heart. The greater the preparation, the greater the gift. The waiting season is proof of something extraordinary forming. Nothing of true value is built overnight. A great cathedral is not constructed in a day, nor is a diamond formed in an instant. The deeper the foundation, the grander the structure that will stand upon it. The longer the refining, the more brilliant the gem will shine. So it is with your life. If you find yourself waiting, if you feel delayed, understand this: you are not being denied. You are being prepared for something far greater than you imagine. Waiting is not wasted time. Waiting is proof that something worth waiting for is in the making. If the blessing were small, it would have already arrived. But when heaven prepares something vast, it requires time. Just as a child takes 9 months to be formed in the hiddenness of the womb, your blessing is taking shape in the unseen before it can be delivered into the seen. Every day of waiting adds depth to its formation, ensuring that when it comes, it will not be fragile, but strong, lasting, and overflowing. This is why impatience robs so many of their peace. They confuse preparation with neglect, delay with denial. They look at the silence and think nothing is happening, when in reality, everything is happening. Just because you cannot yet see the construction does not mean the foundation is not being laid. God builds in secret, He shapes in silence, and the longer the silence, the greater the revelation will be when it finally breaks forth. Think of Joseph, who was given a dream of greatness but endured years of waiting, betrayal, and prison. To the impatient heart, it would appear as though the dream had been forgotten. But those very years of preparation were proof of the magnitude of the gift. He was not destined for a small position, but for one of immense authority. And such a destiny required a long season of preparation. When the time was right, he rose to the exact place he had seen in his dream, and every moment of waiting was revealed as essential. Your life follows the same pattern. The blessing being formed for you is not ordinary. That is why the season feels long, why the silence feels heavy. You are not forgotten. You are being readied. The very weight of your waiting is evidence of the size of the promise. The greater the preparation, the greater the gift. If it takes time, it is because God is arranging every detail so perfectly that when it appears, you will not question whether it was for you. You will know it could only have been prepared by divine hands. So learn to treasure the waiting season. Do not curse it, but honor it. For one day you will look back and understand that the waiting was not empty, but full. It was proof that something extraordinary was forming, something that required care, detail, and precision. And when it comes, it will not be small, it will be vast, it will be undeniable, and it will redefine your life. Live as though it is already yours. By assuming the feeling of the answered prayer, you align yourself with the blessing's arrival. The secret to manifestation lies not in waiting passively for the blessing to appear, but in living from the end as though it has already come. To live in this way is to shift your state of being, to carry within you the assurance that what you have asked for is finished. The outer world only reflects the inner conviction. When you feel yourself to already be the recipient, the blessing rushes toward you, drawn by the certainty you embody. This is the essence of faith. Faith does not merely hope for the future, it claims the future as now. When you assume the feeling of the answered prayer, you take possession of it inwardly. You no longer beg or wonder. You rest in the reality of its fulfillment. Your words change. Your posture changes. Even your energy shifts. People around you can sense it, though they may not understand it. They feel something different about you because you are no longer waiting. You are living in the end. Think of a traveler who has purchased a ticket. Though the train is not yet arrived, though the destination is still ahead, they carry themselves with confidence. They do not question whether they will arrive, for the ticket in their hand is proof. In the same way, when you assume the feeling of the answered prayer, You walk with the certainty of one who already holds the blessing. The outer journey has not yet caught up, but inwardly it is finished. Feeling the prayer makes every an answer journey. Blessing. The outer journey is not yet caught up, but inwardly it is finished. This way of living requires imagination. To feel something that is not yet visible demands courage. Anyone can believe what their eyes see, but true power lies in believing what the heart knows. When you imagine the blessing fulfilled, and when you let that feeling saturate your being, you send out a signal that aligns with its arrival. Life has no choice but to mirror that state back to you. The world is a reflection of the inner life you carry. Living as though it is already yours does not mean pretending or forcing. It is not a performance, but a state of rest. You are not trying to make others believe. You are embodying the truth for yourself, and in time the world conforms. For everything outward is compelled to match the inner conviction. If you feel lack, you draw lack. If you feel abundance, you draw abundance. The law is simple. You receive what you believe you already are. This is why you must guard your inner atmosphere. If you let doubt dominate, you postpone the blessing. But if you hold steady in the assumption that it is already done, the blessing must appear. It may come suddenly or gradually, but it will come. Because the moment you aligned inwardly, the process was set in motion. So live in the end. Speak with gratitude as though it is finished. Walk with confidence as though the door is already open. Rest in assurance as though the prayer has already been answered. For when you live as though it is already yours, you prepare the way for the unseen to become seen and the promise to take form. And soon what you held within will stand before you undeniable because you dared to live as though it was already yours. My friend, understand this. The blessing that is being prepared for you is not ordinary. It is not small. It is not something that will come and go. It is something so vast that it will change you, renew you, and redefine the very way you see yourself and the world. The silence you feel, the waiting you endure, the inner vision you hold, and the faith you live by, all of it is shaping you for what is already yours. Do not be discouraged by what seems delayed. Do not give in to doubt when the evidence appears missing. The unseen hand is always working. Your inner vision is always shaping. Your faith is always aligning. And the greater the preparation, the greater the gift that must follow. So live in the end. Carry yourself as one who has already received. Speak with the certainty of one who knows the promise is fulfilled. Rest in the assurance that God's timing is perfect and that when the blessing arrives, it will not only meet your expectation, it will exceed it beyond measure. The day will come when what you once held only in your heart will stand before your very eyes, and in that moment you will know. It was always prepared, always promised, and always yours. Thank you for listening. And may you walk forward with confidence, peace, and faith, knowing that the blessing on its way is so big it will redefine your life. My friends, this time the blessing will be so big you will be left speechless. Not because you earned it, not because you fought for it, but because you finally allowed yourself to believe it was already yours. You see, the outer world is but a mirror of your inner acceptance. Life has always given back to you what you have dared to imagine. And now the magnitude of this blessing is not found in effort, but in surrender, in the quiet knowing that what you desire already exists within you. There are seasons when nothing seems to move, when silence surrounds you and you wonder if heaven has forgotten your name. But hear this truth. The silence is not denial, it is preparation. Before the greatest blessings appear, life often grows still, for the unseen is arranging itself to astonish you. This time will not be like the last. This time the blessing is beyond measure. It will arrive not in fragments, but in fullness, not in pieces, but in overflow. And when it comes, it will come so swiftly, so beautifully, that words will fail you. You will stand in awe of the greatness of what has unfolded. Do not chase, do not beg, do not worry. Simply rest in the assurance that it is already done. Your imagination, your faith, is the womb of creation. And as you hold the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the unseen bends itself to your vision. This blessing will not just meet your need, it will surpass every expectation. It will leave you speechless because it is bigger than anything you could have planned. This time, life will prove to you that what you carry within is far greater than what you see without. So prepare your heart. Live today as though it has already happened. Walk with the joy of one who has received. And soon, the visible will align with your invisible conviction. This blessing, this time, is too big to be ignored. And when it arrives, you will know it was always waiting for you. Imagination creates reality, and whether you are conscious of it or not, every event in your life is born first in the unseen chambers of your mind. Whatever you dare to accept inwardly with conviction, sooner or later must appear outwardly in your world. Most people live as if the physical world is the cause and they are merely reacting to what already exists. They look at circumstances, they judge by appearances, and then they allow those appearances to dictate what they believe is possible. Yet the truth is the exact opposite. The outer world is nothing more than a mirror, faithfully reflecting the state of your inner acceptance. If you wish to change the outer picture, you must first alter the inner vision. When you imagine something with feeling, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your consciousness. That seed may be invisible to the senses, but it is as real as any seed placed in the ground. Just as the earth knows how to bring forth a tree from a tiny kernel, so does life know how to bring forth your imagined state into visible form. The law does not fail. It cannot fail, for imagination is the creative power itself. But here lies the secret. It is not mere daydreaming or idle wishing that brings results, but the acceptance of the desire as already true. The moment you feel yourself in possession of what you long for, the invisible world begins its work. To accept something inwardly means to take it into your consciousness as though it were already accomplished. This is not a passive acceptance, but an active assumption. You deliberately clothe yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You may not know how it will come or through whom it will arrive, but you rest in the conviction that it already belongs to you. This inner acceptance is the real act of creation. What follows in the physical world is only the unfolding of what has already been finished in imagination. Think of every achievement you have ever made, every experience you have lived. Before it became fact, it was first an image within your mind. A house you live in was once a thought in an architect's imagination. The job you hold, the relationships you have, even the clothes you wear. All of these were ideas before they became physical realities. Nothing enters your life by accident. Every detail is shaped by what you dare to imagine and accept as true. Many people sabotage themselves because they imagine negative outcomes more vividly than they imagine blessings. They worry. They replay scenes of fear. They live in states of doubt. And because imagination creates reality without judgment, life reflects back to them the very thing they dread. But you are free at any moment to shift the inner picture. Instead of entertaining lack, you can dare to imagine abundance. Instead of dwelling on rejection, you can inwardly accept love. Instead of fearing failure, you can clothe yourself in the feeling of success. The world outside bends to the inner conviction you carry. It may seem stubborn at first, as if nothing is changing, but persistence in imagination always bears fruit. What you dare to assume inwardly with faith and persistence must harden into fact. Reality has no choice but to echo the state of consciousness you inhabit. Imagination is not a fantasy. It is the very power shaping your destiny. What you accept inwardly today is the life you will walk into tomorrow. This blessing is different. It does not resemble the smaller victories or the quiet gifts you have received before. Those were but whispers of what was possible, small signs pointing toward the greater promise. But this time, the blessing carries a magnitude beyond your expectations. It is not a fragment, not a drop in the ocean, but a flood of goodness designed to remind you of the vastness of life's abundance. In the past, you may have celebrated progress in pieces. A door that opened here, a small opportunity there, a little relief after a long struggle. And though each of those blessings was real, they were only shadows of the greater light that was being prepared for you. What is coming now is fullness, not fragments. Often life trains us with little answers before delivering the great ones. It is as though the universe asks, will you trust me in the small things? Will you believe even when all you see is a faint glimmer? Those small blessings strengthen faith. They stretch your imagination. They teach you to receive. But once you have proven willing to believe in what you cannot yet see, once you have chosen to accept the invisible as greater than the visible, a shift takes place. You no longer settle for crumbs. You begin to expect the feast. And it is at that moment that the greater blessing, the one prepared for this very season, begins to take shape. This blessing is different because it will not simply meet a need, it will surpass it. It will not only bring comfort, but transformation. You may have asked for provision, but what is coming is overflow. You may have prayed for a door, but what is coming is a pathway you could not have imagined. This is the nature of the extraordinary. It does not answer in line with human calculation. It breaks beyond the boundaries of expectation. It comes in ways that remind you the source is greater than any channel, and that no limitation has the power to stop what is already destined for you. Past moments may have left you grateful, but still reaching for more. They brought light, yet you still search for fullness. But this time, the blessing will silence every doubt. It will be so undeniable that you will not question whether it is real. It will carry with it a weight, a magnitude that cannot be mistaken. The doors that open will not be fragile. The opportunities will not vanish. The joy will not be fleeting. What you are about to step into is built to last, overflowing in ways that transform not just your circumstances, but the very way you see yourself. There is a reason you have endured the waiting, the stillness, the seasons of uncertainty. Every moment was preparing you for this magnitude. If it had arrived too soon, you would not have been ready to carry it. But now, having walked through those smaller chapters, you have the strength to embrace the fullness. This blessing is different because it is not only for you, it is designed to overflow into every area of your life, touching others, proving the power of unseen faith, and leaving you in awe. What is coming will not just meet your expectations, it will rise above them. And when it does, you will be left speechless. Inner acceptance is the true beginning of every transformation. Nothing in your outer life can shift until you have first shifted within. The moment you accept a desire as already yours, the outer world has no choice but to bow to your inner conviction. Acceptance does not mean hoping or wishing. It is not saying one day, maybe this will come. It is claiming the unseen as if it were already accomplished. It is standing in the quiet confidence that what you seek is not on its way, it is already present, waiting for you to align with it. So many live their lives as though they are beggars, hoping the world will grant them permission to have what they want. They wait for a sign, for external proof, before they dare to believe. But the law of life is the opposite. The proof appears only after the acceptance. It is when you feel it within, when you clothe yourself in the state of having, that the physical world reshapes itself to reflect what you carry in consciousness. Inner acceptance is the invisible handshake with life. The moment you inwardly agree that it is yours, the universe rearranges itself to honor that decision. Circumstances begin to shift, people appear, opportunities unfold, but all of this is secondary. The true cause lies within your conviction. Without acceptance, even the greatest opportunities pass by unnoticed, because you cannot recognize what you have not already claimed in imagination. Think of a person who constantly says, I will one day be wealthy. Their words may sound hopeful, but inwardly they still see themselves as lacking. Their acceptance is not of wealth, but of delay, of waiting. Life mirrors that state, and they remain stuck in longing. Yet when someone quietly decides, I am already abundant, and feels it as true in the unseen, their world begins to reflect abundance in ways both small and great. Acceptance, not struggle, is the turning point. When you accept something inwardly, you stop chasing it. You no longer beg, plead, or force. You live as though it is done. This state of being releases the tension, and in that release, the creative power flows unhindered. The outer world must conform, for it has no choice but to reflect the reality you inhabit within. This is why the inner act is so important. You cannot deceive the law. You may speak words of faith, but if inwardly you deny them, the outer world hears only the denial. But once the inner acceptance is real, no obstacle can stand in the way. Even if appearances contradict your conviction, they are powerless, for the greater truth has already been planted within you. The moment of true acceptance is the moment creation is finished. From that point on, you need not struggle. Life will bow to your conviction, and what was unseen will be made visible. The secret is simple. Live now as though it is already done. Feel the joy, the peace, the gratitude of having received, and the outer world will echo your inner state with precision. The blessing becomes inevitable, because the victory was won the moment you accepted it within. Silence before the breakthrough is one of life's greatest mysteries, and yet it is the most certain sign that something extraordinary is about to unfold. Often the quietest seasons precede the loudest miracles. When nothing seems to move, when doors appear closed, and when your prayers echo back in silence, it is not abandonment you are experiencing, but preparation. The unseen realm is at work, aligning people, circumstances, and opportunities that will one day burst forth so suddenly that you will forget the stillness that came before. Many mistake silence for denial. They believe that if nothing changes outwardly, then nothing is happening inwardly. But silence is not denial, it is gestation. Just as a seed lies buried in the ground, invisible to the eye, yet silently transforming into roots and stems, so too does your desire grow in the unseen before it bursts into visibility. You cannot rush the seed from the soil, nor can you force life to reveal the blessing before its time. The silence is sacred because it is proof that creation is unfolding beyond the reach of your senses. In these quiet seasons, the temptation is to give up, to doubt, to assume you have been forgotten. Yet the truth is the opposite. Silence is evidence of activity beyond your sight. When the surface looks still, the deepest work is being done. The unseen currents are stronger than the waves you notice. It is in the silence that your inner conviction is tested, and it is your persistence during this stillness that determines how quickly the breakthrough will manifest. The silence before the miracle is not empty, it is full of arrangements you cannot yet perceive, full of answers that are forming, full of connections that will one day make sense. To your senses, it feels like nothing. To your spirit, it is everything. The silence is where faith proves itself real. Anyone can believe when they see signs, but only those who believe in the silence taste the fullness of the promise. When a great symphony is about to reach its climax, there is often a pause, a breath, a moment of stillness before the sound explodes in power. That pause is not a mistake, it is intentional. It prepares the ear, it builds anticipation, and it makes the climax all the more breathtaking. So too in life. The silence is the pause before the music of your breakthrough fills the air. Without the pause, the miracle would not carry the same power. You may be in such a season now, where prayers feel unanswered, where nothing seems to shift. Do not despise the silence. Do not mistake it for defeat. Know instead that you are in the final stretch before the floodgates open. The silence is proof that something vast is aligning for you, greater than you could arrange by yourself. The quietest seasons carry the greatest promises. The silence is the womb of the miracle, and when the breakthrough comes, it will not trickle. It will roar. It will arrive so loudly, so undeniably, that you will understand why the silence lasted as long as it did. The miracle will speak for itself, and the stillness that preceded it will only amplify its glory. Faith in the unseen is the foundation of all creation. What you cannot yet touch with your senses is already forming in the unseen realm, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Most people trust only what they can see, hear, or hold in their hands, and by doing so they limit themselves to the smallest fraction of life's abundance. Yet the true power lies not in what is already visible, but in what is taking shape beyond the reach of the senses. Faith is the bridge that connects the invisible to the visible, the imagined to the experienced, the promised to the fulfilled. When you understand this, you begin to walk differently. You are no longer swayed by appearances, no longer discouraged by what seems missing. You know that absence in the physical does not mean absence in truth. Just because your eyes cannot yet perceive it does not mean it is not real. Reality begins in the unseen, and the senses catch up later. Faith is choosing to live as though the unseen were more solid than the visible world, because in fact it is. Everything you see around you, the buildings, the technology, the art, the relationships, was once nothing more than an idea, a vision held within someone's unseen imagination. Originally, with imitation results are the perception, what will make you vision, lid. Faith is not blind, it is the clearest vision you can have. It looks beyond the temporary evidence of the senses and holds steady to the eternal truth of what is already forming. When you believe in the unseen, you are not pretending. You are aligning with the deeper reality that precedes manifestation. To others, it may look like madness. They may ask why you smile when nothing has changed, why you celebrate when the blessing has not yet appeared. But you know that celebration itself is proof of faith. By feeling now what others wait to feel later, you are collapsing the distance between the unseen and the seen. The unseen realm is a storehouse of abundance, overflowing with every possibility you can imagine. It is not far away, it is closer than your breath. The moment you desire something and believe it, it begins to take form in that realm. You may not know the steps or the timing, but the process is already alive. Faith is the willingness to stand in that invisible certainty, to rest in the conviction that the unseen is more reliable than appearances. Think of the farmer who plants a seed. He does not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. He knows, though his eyes see only soil, that life is at work beneath the surface. His faith in the unseen allows him to water, to nurture, and to wait with confidence. In the same way, your desires, once accepted inwardly, are seeds planted in the unseen. Faith is the water, persistence is the sunlight, and time itself will reveal what was already complete from the beginning. To live by faith is to walk with quiet assurance, unshaken by delay, undisturbed by silence. It is to know that what you cannot yet touch is already yours, already forming, already on its way into visibility. The unseen is more real than the seen, and when you honor it with faith, life must deliver what you have dared to believe. Overflow beyond measure is the nature of the blessing that is being prepared for you. This is not a blessing that arrives just in time, barely covering what you asked for, barely filling the gap. No, this blessing will not only meet your need, it will surpass it, and in doing so, it will leave you in awe. You may have thought you were asking for something great, but what is on its way is larger than your prayer, greater than your imagination, richer than your expectation. Life does not delight in scarcity, it delights in abundance. When the blessing arrives, it will do more than satisfy, it will overflow. So often we think in terms of just enough to pay the bill, just enough to mend the relationship, just enough to feel a little peace. But the unseen power that answers is not a power of limitation. It does not give crumbs. It spreads a feast. The overflow comes as a reminder that you are not meant to live in survival, but in abundance, not in fragments, but in fullness. When this blessing comes, it will sweep you off your feet, because it will carry a magnitude that says, you were never forgotten, you were never abandoned, and you were always worthy of more than you dared to ask. Overflow has a purpose. It is not only for you, but through you. When you are given more than enough, the extra is designed to bless those around you, to inspire them, to awaken them to what is possible. You may have asked for provision, but what is coming will place you in a position to provide for others. You may have asked for a door to open, but what is coming will create a pathway for many to follow. This is how abundance works. It multiplies. It pours out until it spills over, and in that spilling, it touches everyone connected to you. Think of water filling a cup. Once it reaches the top, it does not stop flowing. It spills over the edges, running across the table, dripping to the floor. That is how this blessing will move in your life. It will not halt at the point of sufficiency. It will continue until you are drenched in gratitude, until you are left without words, staring in wonder at the scale of it. This is what it means to receive beyond measure. And when it arrives, you will know why the wait was so long, why the silence was so deep, why the smaller blessings felt incomplete. They were all preparation for this one. The overflow requires a vessel strong enough to hold it, and you have been strengthened through your journey. Now you are ready not just to receive, but to sustain it. What is coming is not a blessing that will fade. It is one that will anchor itself in your life and expand outward, shaping your future in ways you cannot yet see. When it comes, it will silence doubt, heal wounds, and lift you into a realm of gratitude so profound that words will fail you. It will be more than you asked, more than you dreamed, and it will leave you in awe. This is overflow beyond measure. And so you see, every blessing has been leading you here, to this very moment of awakening. What is coming will not resemble the past. It will not trickle in small pieces, but arrive in fullness, overflowing beyond measure. The silence you endured was never abandonment, but preparation. The unseen you believed in is now ready to be revealed. And when it does, it will be so vast, so undeniable, that you will be left speechless. Walk today as if it has already happened. Feel the joy of fulfillment. Rest in the peace of completion, and know with certainty that life cannot withhold what you have already accepted within. This time the blessing is bigger, greater, richer, and it will leave you in awe. Thank you for listening, and may you carry this truth with you always. What you dare to accept inwardly must one day appear outwardly. Your blessing is already here. Beloved, I tell you this with certainty. Before this month closes its final day, you shall see the evidence of divine favor breaking into your life. Not because you begged for it, not because you fought for it, but because you dared to believe it was already yours. The favor of God is not a distant promise. It is a present reality. It moves silently, invisibly, shaping events, stirring hearts, and preparing doors you thought could never open. Even now, unseen currents are arranging circumstances in your behalf. Do not look to the outer world for signs of delay. The world outside is only a mirror of what you have accepted within. If you see lack, it is only because you are still gazing through the eyes of doubt. But if you close your eyes and live from the vision of already being blessed, already being chosen, already being favored, then nothing on earth can stop the unfolding. Time itself bends to faith. What seems impossible today will seem natural tomorrow. What seemed far away will come suddenly, effortlessly, as though it had always been prepared for you. This is how divine favor moves. It does not knock politely, it enters with authority. So stand firm in your inner knowing. Walk through these final days of the month with quiet confidence, not in what your senses tell you, but in what your spirit knows. Imagine yourself already celebrating, already giving thanks, already testifying to the goodness that has touched your life. And you will see, before this month ends, that favor has indeed moved. Something will shift. A way will open. A blessing will arrive. And you will know it was never by chance. It was by faith, by acceptance, and by the unseen hand working on your behalf. Go forward today knowing the favor of God is already in motion. And before the calendar turns, it will show itself in your life. Faith is not merely a hope for tomorrow, nor is it a desperate wish for things to improve someday. Faith is the quiet, steady knowing that what you carry within is already alive, already real, already moving toward expression. When you hold something in imagination, you are not daydreaming, you are planting the seed of reality. The unseen is not empty space. It is the fertile ground where all creation begins. Every thought, every vision, every inner acceptance is forming itself there, waiting for the perfect moment to emerge into the visible world. To understand faith is to realize that life does not begin outside of you. Life responds to the inner picture you hold with conviction. If your inner world is filled with lack, doubt, and fear, the outer world will faithfully reflect it. But if your inner world is filled with assurance, gratitude, and vision, the outer world has no choice but to mirror that back to you. This is why faith creates the shift. It is not passive, it is creative. It takes what seems intangible and gives it shape, color, and form. When you imagine yourself favored, blessed, and lifted, you are not deceiving yourself. You are aligning with truth. You are entering into the state where that reality already exists. The unseen is not delayed, it is instantaneous. The only delay comes from the wavering of the mind, from stepping in and out of belief. The moment you decide that what you have imagined is already yours, a chain of invisible events begins. People move, circumstance adjusts, doors swing open, not because you forced them, but because you believed. Think of faith as the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Without it, your desire remains a picture in the mind, a possibility never realized. With it, the picture gains substance. It gathers energy and it presses forward into manifestation. Faith makes what is unseen more real to you than what your senses declare. This is why the man or woman of faith can smile in difficulty, can give thanks in advance, can walk as though the victory is already won, because within it is already complete. Faith does not need evidence from the outer world. It creates the evidence. It does not wait for confirmation. It gives confirmation by the act of inner acceptance. To walk in faith is to trust that the unseen is more powerful, more certain, and more enduring than any temporary condition you face. You may not see the shift immediately, but the moment you have believed, it has already occurred. The rest of life is simply catching up with what you have accepted within. So guard your imagination. Watch what you allow yourself to dwell upon. If you entertain fear, you breathe life into it. If you embrace faith, you give power to your vision. Whatever you hold in imagination, with persistence and conviction, is already forming in the unseen. And when you refuse to doubt, when you live as though it is already yours, the shift must come. It cannot fail, for faith has already created it. Divine favor is not something that must be worked for, chased after, or earned through effort. It is not a reward that comes only when you prove yourself worthy by struggle or perfection. Favor flows as naturally as breath, as surely as light breaks the darkness. It is the gift of aligning your inner belief with the truth that you are already chosen, already worthy, already blessed. Too often, people live as though they must bargain with life, working endlessly to prove they deserve good things. But the truth is simpler. When you align with belief and hold the vision of yourself already favored, the flow of life adjusts itself to reflect that state. The universe does not withhold blessings out of cruelty. It mirrors the state you carry within. If you believe yourself unworthy, undeserving, or forgotten, then life reflects that belief. Not because favor has disappeared, but because you have closed the door to receiving it. Favor is like a river, always flowing, but you must step into it. You step in not with toil or desperate action, but with the quiet assurance that it belongs to you. Belief is the key. Inner vision is the doorway. Consider the person who insists they must struggle endlessly before they are allowed success. That person may work tirelessly, yet their results remain small, because inwardly they carry the weight of unworthiness. Compare this to the one who, even without great effort, walks in the inner knowing that everything they touch will prosper, that every door will open, that life bends in their favor. To such a person, circumstances begin to shift. People are drawn to them. Opportunities present themselves. Resources gather as if by unseen orchestration. The difference is not effort, it is alignment. When you live with the vision of already being blessed, life must reflect it. You are not pulling favor toward you, you are simply allowing it to express itself through you. Favor cannot be earned by effort because it is already yours by birthright. You did not create the air you breathe, yet it sustains you. You did not command the sun to rise, yet it shines on you. So too, divine favor moves freely, awaiting only your acceptance. This is why belief is so vital. To believe is to relax into what is already prepared for you. to see yourself as favored, to imagine yourself chosen, to live as though the blessing has already touched your life. This is the alignment that unlocks the flow. When your mind and vision agree with the truth of favor, you stop resisting, you stop doubting, and the natural current of life lifts you higher. The outer world may whisper that you must work harder, wait longer, or prove yourself more, but the inner world holds the truth. Favor has always been yours. The moment you stop striving and start aligning, you will see it flow. People will extend kindness without explanation, opportunities will appear without warning, and blessings will unfold without struggle. It will seem sudden, but it was always there, waiting for your belief. Favor is not earned, it is accepted. And once accepted, it moves naturally into your life. Time is often misunderstood. Many see it as an obstacle, a barrier between themselves and what they desire. They wait anxiously, measuring days and weeks, asking when their dream will come. But time is not your enemy. It is only a bridge. It carries what is already true in consciousness into visibility. What you hold inwardly is the seed, and time is simply the process by which the seed pushes through the soil and reveals itself. The moment you accept something as real within, it is finished. Time's only role is to arrange the circumstances that bring it into form. If you plant a seed in the ground, you do not question if it will grow, simply because you do not see it on the first day. You know the process is unfolding invisibly. In the same way, when you claim your desire in consciousness, you must rest in certainty that it is working, even if your senses do not yet confirm it. The unseen world is the cause, the physical world is the effect. Time is not delay, it is preparation. It is the bridge by which your invisible reality crosses into the visible. This is why impatience weakens faith. To demand that something appear instantly is to confess you doubt it already exists. But when you rest in assurance, knowing that what is true inwardly must show itself, time loses its power to frighten you. You stop counting days and start celebrating in advance. And ironically, this very posture hastens the manifestation. For when you no longer measure or doubt, you remove resistance, and the bridge becomes shorter. Before this month ends, what is true in your consciousness will show itself. If you have lived from lack, fear, or resignation, then that truth will form its reflection in the days ahead. But if you have dared to accept favor, abundance, and answered prayers as already real within, then the outer world must bring you the evidence. The bridge of time cannot deny what is firmly established in consciousness. It can only deliver it. Think of your desire as a letter already written and mailed. Once you send it, you do not worry each day if it will arrive. You know it is on its way. Time is only the journey of that letter from the unseen to your doorstep. You may not control the exact hour, but you rest secure that it will come. In the same way, the dream held firmly within you is already traveling the bridge of time. It is already in motion, already on its way, already secured. So do not despair when your senses tell you nothing has changed. What you see is the shadow of yesterday's belief. What is coming is the reflection of today's acceptance. And before this month closes, you will see proof. You will recognize that time was never against you. It was simply the passageway. Consciousness is the cause, and time is the bridge. Stand firm in what you know inwardly, and the outer must follow. Doubt and struggle are the two greatest thieves of blessings. They make you believe that what you desire is far away, that it must be fought for, or that you are somehow unworthy of receiving it. Yet the truth is this: the blessing is never delayed. It is already unfolding, already moving, already weaving itself into your life. The only thing that clouds it from your vision is the weight of doubt and the strain of struggle. When you doubt, you contradict your own faith. You plant the seed of desire, but then dig it up again by questioning if it will grow. Struggle is the same. You push, you chase, you force, as though the universe must be persuaded to favor you. But blessings are not attracted by strain. They flow where there is trust. Struggle signals that you believe it depends only on your effort. Trust signals that you know it is already done. Think of a flower. It does not strain to bloom. It does not worry whether the sun will rise or the rain will come. It simply unfolds step by step because it trusts the process written into its being. Your blessing is the same. It is not waiting for you to earn it by exhausting yourself. It is waiting for you to release doubt, to relax into faith, and to allow it to manifest naturally. The reason blessings often feel delayed is because the mind insists on watching for them. The more you look outwardly for proof, the more you reinforce the belief that nothing is happening. But when you let go of the need to see immediate evidence, you make space for the unseen to move freely. The blessing is like a seed sprouting underground. You may not see the roots forming, but the growth is real. The absence of visible proof is not the absence of movement. When you release doubt, you shift into a state of quiet confidence. You begin to live as though the prayer has already been answered, as though the door has already opened, as though the favor has already arrived. And in that state, life responds. People cross your path at the right moment. Opportunities appear unexpectedly, and situations align without your forcing them. What seemed delayed suddenly breaks forth, not because it was late, but because you finally allowed yourself to see it. This is why struggle must end. The more you push, the more you affirm lack. The more you chase, the more you declare that what you want is missing. But when you stop struggling, when you let go and rest in assurance, you declare that the blessing is already here, and it is. Even now, while you read these words, the unseen is working on your behalf. Alignments are being made, paths are being cleared, doors are swinging open. So quiet the mind, release the weight of doubt, end the struggle. Walk forward today as one who already possesses what they asked for. Give thanks not for what is coming, but for what already is. The blessing has never been delayed. It has been unfolding every moment, waiting only for you to see it. To live from the end is to step into the reality of your answered prayer before it appears. It is to feel yourself already favored, already lifted, already answered, and to let that feeling guide every thought, every word, and every action. Most people live in the opposite way. They live from the middle, constantly looking at their current conditions, measuring what they see, and hoping that one day it will change. But the secret is that change only comes when you refuse to live from the evidence of the present and instead dwell in the certainty of the fulfilled desire. Living from the end is not pretending. It is not tricking yourself into believing something false. It is recognizing that the unseen is the true reality and that consciousness is the cause of everything you will ever experience. When you see yourself already favored, when you feel the joy of already being lifted, when you rest in the assurance of already being answered, you are aligning with the truth that has always existed. The outer world has no choice but to conform. Imagine a person who prays for abundance but continues to live with a feeling of lack. They watch every coin, worry about every expense, and speak of how hard life is. Their words and feelings reveal that they are living from scarcity, not from the end. Another person, however, may have the same outer circumstances, but chooses to carry themselves with the dignity of one already provided for. They give thanks in advance. They speak as though their blessing has already arrived, and they carry a peace that cannot be shaken. This person is living from the end, and it is only a matter of time before their reality catches up to their inner vision. The key is to feel it real. Words alone will not transform your life. You must allow the feeling of the fulfilled state to sink into your heart. If you desire healing, feel the vitality, the strength, the freedom of already being whole. If you desire love, feel the warmth, the security, the joy of already being embraced. If you desire opportunity, feel the confidence, the gratitude, the excitement of already stepping into that open door. These feelings are the true prayers, and they create the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you live from the end, you stop waiting. Waiting implies distance, but living from the end is claiming that it is here now. And so you walk differently, you speak differently, you carry yourself differently. People notice a shift in your presence because you are no longer bound by appearances. You are anchored in the invisible truth. This is the posture that draws blessings swiftly. The outer world responds to the vibration of the inner world. The moment you consistently feel yourself already answered, life begins to reshape itself to match. You will discover opportunities you never imagined. Favor will meet you in unexpected places, and what once felt far away will come rushing into your experience. Living from the end is freedom. It releases you from anxiety, from striving, from uncertainty. You no longer beg for what is yours. You walk as though it is already done. And in that state, miracles are natural. For when you feel yourself already favored, already lifted, already answered, the world must eventually agree. There is a hand at work in your life that you cannot see. It moves silently, arranging people, shifting circumstances, and aligning events in ways your mind could never calculate. This unseen hand is the force of divine favor, responding not to your struggle or effort, but to your belief and acceptance. When you dare to trust that life is for you, not against you, you begin to notice how things fall into place at just the right moment. A door you thought was shut suddenly swings open. An opportunity you never imagined comes into view. A path you could not plan reveals itself, step by step. You are not alone in your journey. Too often people carry the weight of life as though everything depends solely on their effort. They labor, they worry, they exhaust themselves, trying to control every detail. Yet the greatest blessings are not the result of force, they are the result of alignment. The unseen hand moves when you surrender the need to figure it all out and instead hold fast to the inner vision of what you desire. Your belief signals to life what to prepare for you. This is why you must not despair when you cannot see how things will work out. The unseen hand is already at work beyond your view. While you sleep, it is moving. While you wait, it is aligning. While you wonder how, it is quietly weaving the pieces together. To doubt is to block your own awareness of it. To believe is to allow yourself to be carried by it. Think of the times in your past when a solution appeared out of nowhere, when help came at the exact moment you needed it, when what seemed like a setback became a blessing in disguise. These were not accidents. They were the workings of the unseen hand. Life is far more intelligent than chance. Every connection, every delay, every redirection is shaping the path that leads you to the fulfillment of your vision. When you walk in faith, you walk with the assurance that you do not need to force the doors open. They will open in their time, and when they do, no one can shut them. You do not need to chase opportunities frantically. They will come, drawn to the state you carry within. You do not need to fear missed chances. The unseen hand can bring them back in a higher form, greater than you first imagined. To live today with quiet confidence. Expect doors to open before you. Expect circumstances to align in your favor. Expect people to show up at the right time, bringing the very help or opportunity you need. Even when things seem uncertain, remind yourself that there is a hand at work beyond your sight, arranging everything for your good. Favor is not random, it is directed by your belief. Hold the vision of yourself already favored, and the unseen hand will confirm it by shaping your world accordingly. Doors will open, circumstances will align, and what you once thought impossible will move easily into your life. Trust this process, for the unseen is always working, and its work is never in vain. Amy, I have a word for you. Sheshe? So, as this month moves toward its end, carry no fear, no doubt, no struggle. Know that what you have believed in your heart is already set in motion. Faith has created the shift. Favor flows without effort. Time is only a bridge, not a barrier. The blessing is unfolding even now, and your role is simply to live from the end, to feel yourself already answered, already lifted, already favored. Trust the unseen hand, for it is arranging every detail of your life in perfect order. And before this month ends, you will see it. You will witness doors opening, paths clearing, and the undeniable favor of God moving into your life. Thank you, Lion.